Hi guys, welcome to Yesterday's Coffee, the podcast where we chat about fitness, nutrition, and business all over coffee that may or may not have been brewed yesterday. I've been drinking yesterday's coffee all week.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't want to throw it away.
I mean, you've been drinking yesterday's coffee for years.
Well, yes, but this week it's been just about every day. We bought this new coffee that is so good. I can't waste any of it.
Coffee Emporium, right?
Yeah. Do you remember what the brand was called?
I think it was Carnivore.
Is it called Carnivore? It has a tiger on the front.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called Carnivore.
It's smoky and rich and delicious and
phenomenal stuff.
I love it. So you guys should try it.
Drink it black.
Okay, you can put some cream in it. It's okay.
Whatever, yeah.
So today we thought it would be pretty appropriate to talk about how to navigate the holidays, considering what time of the year it is.
We're festive with the mugs today.
I know. We have our Christmas mugs.
Check these out, yeah.
Now that I'm allowed to celebrate Christmas since Thanksgiving is over.
Well, yeah, now you're allowed to play the Christmas music.
I know. Okay. I think as soon as they start having like Christmas decorations up, you can play Christmas music.
Give Thanksgiving its time. Now it's time.
But like if it's on the radio, I want to listen to it.
Whatever.
I feel like I should be able to.
You're on the wrong stations.
Okay.
Back to today's topic.
So my first question is, should you worry about the holidays at all? Because I think me and Kyle both have a similar viewpoint on this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, when we have some sort of goal that we're working towards, how important is it to really buckle down during the holidays, which is like what everyone wants to say? Well,
so it depends on if you've got a timeline. So that's the biggest thing. So like if you've got something where maybe it could be a competition, it could be a vacation, like maybe you're trying to get in shape for this thing that you're doing in January, then that might be a little bit more time related and focused. Mm-hmm. So you would definitely want to have some sort of plan in mind for that time period.
Absolutely.
But as far as just like a general health goal, or maybe you have goals that are a little bit more far-reaching as far as time goes.
Sure, like more long-term.
Yeah, long-term goals where whether that's weight loss, muscle building, anything, if there's no immediate need to achieve something by that following month or two, then it's really not that big of a deal.
No, it's not that big of a deal. It's not. So I agree with you completely. I think life is meant to be lived, and holidays are, such a fun time where you get to see family and friends. You get to, spend time with people that you don't normally get to see, and adding one more layer of stress to the craziness by worrying about your food choices, I think is too much and unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think that's one level of stress that you absolutely don't need, especially because we know, and we talk about it in every podcast, consistency is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, regardless of when you started working towards a certain goal, if you are being as consistent as possible throughout the week, then having a day off track, having Thanksgiving, or even having a couple holiday celebrations a couple days in a row is not going to throw you off track.
Oh yeah, how many Thanksgivings did we go to? A few.
3, 2,
a few, yeah.
3, a few.
So yeah,
few.
And having a day or two like that, or 3, isn't a big deal, especially if you know what you're doing. So there's a difference between enjoying yourself over the holidays and just going absolutely crazy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. The holidays are not an excuse to eat everything in sight. And I think that's what people live in a diet mentality. And so they use the holidays as, their couple times a year where they can eat whatever they want without repercussions, and they can, just eat everything. And it might not even be stuff that they really like.
Well, just,
you know what I mean?
I think a lot of times the thought is, well, if I have this slice of pie, why not just have 6 more? Because I already screwed it up.
Yeah, and that's the wrong way to think about it.
And that's not true at all.
It's not true at all. If it's an isolated, amount of time, like that should happen. You should enjoy yourself. You should be social and enjoy food. I think it's important to look at the holidays as a chance to, follow family traditions, eat, the dish that grandma only makes once a year, eat things that you really, truly enjoy and you look forward to. don't just use it as an excuse to eat a whole bag of Doritos that you can get
right
any time of the year. Like, they'll never go away.
Yeah, especially if you're just filling up on like junk that's laying around. It's like, oh, we got the chips and dip out and all that stuff. You're not enjoying
it's just completely
stuff.
mindless.
Yeah.
It should be, you should go into these holidays with a certain level of awareness and knowing that you should be able to enjoy yourself while still taking care of your body and still remaining, having some semblance of health.
Right.
Because we also know that 4 days in a row of just junk, when we have, when we either go overboard on a certain food or we're just eating things that we really don't care about, we feel crappy.
Oh, yeah.
We feel crappy being off of a routine. We feel crappy eating all these, like, this junk food. So that's the other thing I think you should keep in mind is you know yourself, you know your body, you know what's going to make you feel good and what's going to make you not feel good. So use that as a way to kind of keep yourself from going too crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you should treat each normal day of the week like you have been doing whatever you've been doing up to that point. And then come that Thanksgiving Day or Christmas or New Year's or whatever it may be, it's just a matter of enjoying yourself and go ahead and eat whatever is there that you would like to eat in a reasonable quantity. I mean, you don't want to stuff yourself and just eat yourself sick, but
which
you can
doesn't even
totally
relate to your goal.
stuff.
Like, eating yourself sick doesn't even relate to your weight goal, doesn't relate to your health goal.
Right.
It's about how it's going to make you feel
in
that moment.
Terrible.
Like, why would you do that to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you don't have to live in this, like, diet, restrictive bubble.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself, but don't put yourself in pain.
Well, and what should also be said about that is even if one day you just go crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
which we do sometimes.
That is not going to derail your progress.
No.
Now, if you get on the scale the day before that and then the day after that, yeah, you'll see a bump in weight, but that's because you've got all these carbs in your body, you've got all this water in your body. There's so much just added fluid to you as a whole that, yeah, the weight on the scale the day after is absolutely going to be higher.
Yeah, but we've talked about this before too, that is not your body gaining fat. You didn't just all of a sudden gain 7 pounds of fat overnight.
Right. Yeah, you might have gained a little bit, but as soon as you get back on track, after a week, you're going to be back to where
you'll
you were.
normalize.
And that's if it's one day. Now, if you strung together 4 or 5 straight crazy days, then yeah, we might be talking about a few pounds of fat that you just put back on. But again, it's not going to be that crazy rebound weight that you see the next day. And honestly, just don't get on the scale the next day. Like, there's no reason to.
Go back to your routine.
Yeah.
Don't weigh yourself right afterwards. Give yourself, 5 to 7 days and then look at it again. Mm-hmm. And if it hasn't moved or even if it is up a pound or two, not the end of the world.
Right.
It's not the end of the world.
Right.
And that pound or two will be a lot easier to get rid of. It won't take you as long to get rid of that pound again as it did the first time you lost it. Because your body wants to normalize. It wants to get back to where it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And that meal that you have where you are going off your plan, depending on how hard you've been dieting and for how long you've been doing it, if you do that properly and you just include a few things that you'd like to eat in a reasonable quantity, that can actually help your fat loss. It can help reset your metabolism, a number of different hormones, and just kind of keep you sane too, because you've got that one day to look forward to
relax and just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Which again is what the holidays are all about.
Right. Absolutely.
So the other thing then would be exercise, right? Because that's still part of this whole goal equation.
Right.
So if our goal is weight related, how should we approach our exercise routine over the holidays?
I mean, I would try to keep it as consistent as possible, unless you've got some sort of events lined up that are going to keep you from doing that, which is totally understandable. And again, it goes back to consistency, right? So if you've been doing things very consistently up to this point, and then for whatever reason, there's a full week where you can't get in the gym, it's not the end of the world.
No.
It's totally fine. And especially in that time, if you don't have the ability to work out for whatever reason, if you do at least have the ability to control what you're eating, then you're not gonna inflict any sort of major damage to your goals.
To your goals. No, absolutely not. And I agree with that. And I also do think that it's smart to think ahead. So realistically, a lot of people don't have the same amount of time to devote to exercise during the holiday season as they would normally throughout the year.
Sure.
So if you know that that's going to be an issue, instead of trying to aim for your same workout routine, I honestly think that it might be a better idea to look ahead and decide what's more realistic for you in terms of what kind of exercise you're doing, where you're doing the exercise, what amount of time you can devote to working out throughout the week so that you don't get discouraged when you don't hit your normal routine.
No, that's a really good point, because if you're typically working out 4 or 5 days a week and you know that that's just not feasible coming into some of these holiday weeks, there's a couple different ways that you can do it. You can, if you wanted to keep that same amount of days per week in the gym, but you just don't have the time, then split your volume in half. So if you're doing 4 working sets per exercise, do 2 or 3, or maybe cut a couple exercises. And instead of being in the gym for an hour, maybe you're there for 30 minutes and just really try to knock it out quickly. And the other thing that you can do is, if you know that you're not going to be able to make it into the gym 4 or 5 days a week, and maybe you've got 2 days, if you've been consistently splitting up your workouts to where you're squatting one day and you're deadlifting another day, and then maybe you're doing back and maybe chest another day, and you've got all these body part splits, maybe combine some of those big exercises into 1 of 2 days so that you're still getting the majority of your big work done.
Sure.
And when you're working out 2 days a week, don't really expect to make any sort of progress, but you can absolutely maintain for a short period of time by just transitioning to that.
Definitely. Well, and that's not even really what most people are focused on throughout the holidays. Like, we know that we're kind of putting a pause. I think most people worry about going backwards, but you can absolutely maintain where you go into the holidays. And like Kyle said at the very beginning, unless you have a super time-bound goal that is happening directly after Thanksgiving or Christmas, you don't really need to be so hyper-focused on continuing to make progress towards that goal in this like 4 to 6 week period of the holidays.
I mean, let's take worst case scenario. Exercise goes out the window, and then eating goes out the window too, and you gain 5 pounds over December.
Well, and you're also, feeling really negative about it. You're getting down on yourself. You're stressed about it. All of that stuff is just kind of snowballing into setting you back a lot more than if you had just done your best and planned ahead and tried to stay as consistent as possible.
Yeah. And like I was saying, even if you gained 5 pounds in the month, that is not that hard to turn around.
No.
You get right back on a consistent plan that brought you to where you were, and you return to that normal routine, and that weight will come right back off.
Yeah. Again, the weight that you put on it will come off a lot faster than the first time you had to lose it. So the biggest problem is when people fall off and stay off the wagon. So if you use that as an excuse of like, last week sucked, so this week's going to suck, and I'm just not even going to try until January. Like, that's where things can snowball into a much worse situation than maybe you had a bad week. So what? Yeah.
Start over.
Yeah. And that comes down to the mentality. And I think that was really the purpose behind this video in the first place, was to make sure that people have a healthier mindset about their goals and about how to attain them. And going back to the stress thing, don't stress so much about this whole process. Again, I understand if you have, super time-bound goals, but realistically, most people are just in this to live healthier lives, and they have more long-term goals. If we're talking about a long-term goal, this is okay.
Yeah.
A couple weeks off is okay. 2 days off is okay. You can eat whatever you want for one day, and it's not going to kill you.
99%
take it in
of people
stride.
Don't have a time-bound to January goal.
No.
It's not going to make any difference whether you're setting yourself a week or 2 back.
Yeah.
You'll recoup that right away, as long as you get back on track.
Definitely.
Don't let this just derail you for the rest of the month.
Well, again, you have to go into it with that mindset, though. You have to go into it knowing what to expect and knowing that it's okay to enjoy things. Because when we keep ourselves in this like really restrictive bubble, that's when people get discouraged. And that I think is what starts the snowball. It's like the negativity and the giving up and the just saying, well, screw it. I already messed it up. You didn't mess anything up.
Right.
There was nothing to mess up. This is life and you were living life.
And
that's okay.
And honestly, a lot of that is just people not really understanding their bodies yet. So you and I, we've been doing this for a long time, personally. And like, I know exactly what I expect my body to look like and respond like after I've done something, whether that is a specific kind of training or eaten a specific way. And I know exactly what that turnaround time is. So if I have a terrible week where I haven't been training and I didn't have any sort of
like the last 6
major
weeks
control over my diet, I know how my body's going to respond to that. And on the opposite side of that, I also know that as soon as I'm consistent again, by the end of that next week of consistency, I'll be right back to where I was. And it's something that in the beginning, I got super stressed over. Like when I was in the first couple years of me training and trying to build muscle and lean out, I was so crazy about every single little thing. And to no real end. Like it doesn't get me any better.
No.
And now
it honestly can set you back.
Now I totally understand how and what to expect going into those periods, and I don't stress over it.
No.
And it makes the stressing over it does not improve your results in any sort of fashion.
Well, and I mean, it's the same for me. So I have weighed myself before and after holidays because I basically know what my body is going to do, but I kind of like to see it almost as an experiment. I like to know how my body responds to things. And I gained 6 pounds in the 2 days. So like Thanksgiving and the day after.
Yeah.
But I expected that to happen.
Totally expect that.
I knew that something like that would happen. And like a couple years ago, I probably would have cried the whole rest of the day. And then I probably would have gone to the store and bought a pint of ice cream and just said, screw it. Like, why does it matter anyway? I'm just going to eat.
I thought you were going to say you'd be on the treadmill 2 hours later that night. Because some people do it that way, too.
It depends. Honestly, depends on my mood. I'll be honest. But the point is, I would have been so upset and beating myself up. And now I completely understand.
Went back to normal for a week, it would disappear.
Well, and I know, like, give me 3 more days and I'll be right back where I was.
Exactly.
It's not the end of the world. It's not a huge deal. Like, you should be able to live your life and not stress over a couple pounds because you ate a meal that you really loved.
Absolutely.
So.
Enjoy yourself. It's the holidays.
Yes. So happy holidays.
Yes.
You have anything else to add?
No, I think that's it. Just relax, enjoy yourself, drink some eggnog if you need it, because this is the only time of year they sell it.
Or something stronger, I guess.
Or that.
Well, thank you guys for listening. If there are any specific topics you'd like for us to cover, you can always reach out to me at therootedrd.com, or you can reach out to Kyle at hypertrofit.com. So we will see you guys next week.
See you next week.